For this craft, you will need printables from our blog, foam board, hot glue and a glue gun, blank laminated paper or clear packaging, scrapbook paper, glue stick and tape, an X-Acto knife, empty baby food containers or condiment containers, caulk, food coloring, taster spoons, craft paint, cotton balls, and of course Mod Podge. You're going to start by taking your foam board and you're going to measure out how big you want your countertop to be. I want mine to be 25 inches long and 7 inches wide. Then you're going to trace it out, use an X-Acto knife, and cut it out of the foam board. On one side of the countertop, you're going to need to measure out your food containers. This is where the ice cream will be, and you'll need to trace the containers onto the foam board. This will give you an idea of how big you need to cut out the inserts so you can place the ice cream containers inside. This gives you a better view of where you need to cut out. Make sure you leave the middle piece intact, you don't cut that out. And I'm going to have 5 on top and 5 on the bottom. So that's how I know how long I need to cut it. If you have fewer ice cream containers, you'll need to measure out and yours might be shorter than mine. This is how it looks, and they can either sit inside or they can be slanted. Now you need to measure how tall you want your counter to be. So take a doll. My counter is going to be about elbow length for a doll. Now this is pretty tall, so you might only want to do it waist high. You'll measure that out, also make 2 sides, and you'll hot glue them all together. The front and the 2 sides. Now the counter can stand up on its own, so we're going to make that front glass. I'm just using a laminated sheet. You can also use clear packaging. You might need to cut it to size, and you're going to glue the very bottom of the sheet onto the front of the counter right at the edge. Measure 2 shelf supports. Mine are about 3.5 inches tall. And this is where the top shelf is going to sit on, but also you're going to glue the laminated sheet to. Before you glue them into place, you're going to wrap them with your scrapbook paper. You're also going to cover the counter with scrapbook paper. You can leave it white and decorate it, paint it, put stickers on it. I wanted to go for a more realistic look, so I added like the black marble look. Then you're going to hot glue the shelf supports into place, and then glue the laminated paper on top of that. Measure out how big you need your top shelf to be, cut it out of the foam board, cover it with the scrapbook paper, and then hot glue it into place. To create your granite stone, you're going to take a rectangle piece of foam board, and then you can either paint it to look like granite or marble, or you can cover it with scrapbook paper. Now take your empty baby food containers, remove the lids and save them for a later craft, and you're going to use spray paint or craft paint to paint them silver. Once they're dry, you're going to fill them up with caulk. You don't have to fill them up all the way, about halfway will do. And then make your flavors. This right here is chocolate, so I'm using a brown food coloring. And you'll notice it's not completely full. That's because I don't want it to be heavy on my counter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few cotton balls and I'm going to stick it in. It keeps the weight light, but it also helps it to completely dry all the way through. Now this is the fun part where you can make your own flavors. Right here we're gonna do a vanilla chocolate chip. So it's just the white caulk, and then I'm cutting up little bitty strips of black cardstock, and I'm just gonna mix it in. You see it's not all the way full because I'm still gonna add some cotton balls to it. And then I'm gonna sprinkle some of the chocolate chips on top. I also made grape, strawberry. I made the strawberries out of white foam and a marker. Oreo, I made the cookies out of foam. Orange creamsicle, I made the orange garnishes out of white foam and marker. Peppermint, and banana. Now take the bowl printables from our blog, cut them out, and then you're going to rub your finger around the back of it. It gives it a curved look. And then fold down all the tabs, and then you're just going to tape it into place. So wrap the top around and tape it into place, and now you have your bowl, and you can fill it up with ice cream or you can just set it on the counter. Now you're going to make some ice cream mix-ins that you can put on the Cold Stone or in the ice cream cups. You're just going to squirt little dollops of the caulk onto plastic, and then you're going to mix them up. They don't need to look like scoops of ice cream because remember they're actually going to be mixed on the stone, so they need to look like they've been mixed up a bit. Let them completely dry, and then you're going to take a craft spatula and you're going to scrape them off, and you're going to need to turn them all upside down and let the bottoms completely dry. Once they are completely dry to the touch, you're going to take Mod Podge and give it 1 or 2 coats on the top and on the bottom. It gives it a nice finished look, it seals it, and also it makes it look more realistic like ice cream. To make the mixing spades, you're going to take 2 taster spoons and you're going to paint them silver. And of course you need a sample spoons jar.
that's all, folks.